Let us continue with learning about amplifiers. Let us move on to something called as multi-stage amplifiers. Now, why do we need to know about multi-stage amplifiers? The reason behind this being the gain of a single stage amplifier is not sufficient. So, what do we need? We need more stages of amplifiers in cascade. What do you mean when you say cascade? One following the other. Now, how do we explain that in this context? So, you see here students, you have n stages of amplifiers connected in cascade. Now, what you actually mean when you say cascade? So, you can see here you have the first stage, the second stage, like that many stages, and I am considering an n stage amplifier. So, what do we see here? Vs is the input to the first stage, V1 is the output of the first stage, and we also note that the output of the first stage is the input to the second stage, and the output of the second stage will be the input to the third stage, and so on. So, what is the overall gain? The overall gain of this n stage amplifier will be V0. V0 is the final output and Vs is the input. So, V0 by Vs will be the overall gain of this n stage multi-stage amplifier. So, we can actually take it as a small exercise and prove that the overall gain of an n stage amplifier is simply the product of the individual gains. So, you see here you have A1, the gain of first stage, A2, gain of second stage, A3, gain of third stage, so on, An, the gain of the n stage. So, what you should understand here is the overall gain of an n stage amplifier is simply the product of the individual gains. Now, students, in your class, in your elementary classes, you must have learnt multiplication and division can be converted into addition and subtraction. Now, how is this done? This is done by using logarithms. So, instead of multiplying huge numbers, it is always easy to add. Addition is easier when compared to multiplication. So, in order to do this, the dimensionless gain. What is dimensionless gain? It is simply the ratio of output voltage to input voltage. Okay. So, the gain in decibels. So, how is this designed? The gain in decibels, voltage gain in decibels is defined like this. It is 20 into log to the base 10 of A. What is this A? A is the overall gain, or if you want to find the individual decibel gain of first stage, it will be 20 into log to the base 10 of A1, 20 into log to the base 10 of A2. That means that will be the decibel gain of stage 2. So, when you do this, so what happens? How to find the overall gain of a multi-stage amplifier in decibels? So, as I told you, if you apply logarithm to this, we know that log of A into B is equal to log A plus log B, isn't it? So, you can do a small exercise, apply log to the base 10 on both the sides and multiply by 20 on both the sides. You will find that you will arrive at this answer. So, students, there are two ways of calculating or measuring or knowing about the gain of amplifiers. One is the dimensionless gain, another one is the decibel gain. So, please remember, how do you remember the decibel gain? 20 into log to the base 10 of A. If you remember, you have used this formula while doing your experiment on CE amplifier, isn't it, students? To wrap up, why do you need a multi-stage amplifier? You need a multi-stage amplifier because the gain of a single stage amplifier is not sufficient. So, what do? You take individual or single stages and connect them in cascade to get a multi-stage amplifier. What is dimensionless gain? Dimensionless gain is simply the ratio of output voltage to input voltage. What is the overall gain of an n-stage multi-stage amplifier? If the individual gains are A1, A2 and so on until An, the overall gain is simply the product of the individual gains. Now another way of doing the same thing or finding the overall gain, if we know the decibel gains of the individual stages, it simply turns out to be the overall gain is simply going to be the addition of the individual decibel gains. So what I can write here is, see, this is simply equal to A1 in dB, okay, plus A2 in dB, okay, plus A3 in dB. Okay, students. So the overall gain of an n-stage multi-stage amplifier is simply the product of individual dimension gains or simply the addition of individual decibel gains.